Okay, so I just watched this interview with on Breaking Points with Sagar and Corin, I believe is the lady's name, and I watched this interview. It was a great interview. This guy named Jeffrey Sachs. I've been watching for him for a while, and so I thought I'd start introducing like different people that I listen to or read about these type of topics. But once again, we're gonna stick around with this Iran and Jeffrey Epstein, Israel, and this whole war because they're all intertwined. But Jeffrey Sachs is an economist and a public policy analyst. He's Jewish, so he gets to talk about this because they can't screen anti-Semitism to him, right? Playing the Jewish card. That's what he said to us as black people. And then we have he went to Harvard and a PhD in economics, which is fire. So pretty much what he's saying is he's explaining how much of a puppet Donald Trump is in everything. We're not just talking about Israel, Iran. We're talking about Donald Trump is not a president. He's a puppet.
We have been roped into endless war by these extreme Zionists, and we're now in an ever greater escalation to full regional war for the purpose of Israeli hegemony in the Middle East. Of course, it aligns with the madmen in Washington and Langley who want U.S. hegemony in the world. But that's what this is about. They don't count how many schoolgirls are dead. They couldn't care less. That's the whole point. There's nothing in this about the dead. This is all madmen's delusions. Trump's crazy. He may even believe this, but he's crazy, or he's psychopathic, or it's what's called the dark triad personality, extreme Machiavellianism, inability to understand anything, murder the other side and say, we love you. Mm-hmm. That's his approach. It's completely spiraling out of control. I don't think he's the only agent of this, by the way. I think this is the CIA long-standing effort. But we have gone to war in Libya, Sudan, Somalia, occupied Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Iran for this extremist, delusional purpose. And what have we gotten out of it? Millions dead, but we're not supposed to count the dead. Trillions of dollars of loss. Chaos from Libya to Iran. I mean chaos. A region across the entire North Africa, Horn of Africa, and the Middle East in chaos because of this insane Zionism and the U.S. complicity in it and the delusions of control. How many wars will we get into?
Donald Trump is an entity, and depending how much money you put into this entity depends on what you get. It's not about laws or perspectives or what's right or wrong. It's not about public opinion. It's how much are you going to pay me? Donald Trump talks about fraud in Minneapolis when we've seen him pardon how many different fraud people? How many? Right now it's a free for all. If you have the money to pay Donald Trump, you can get yourself out of prison. So right now, Israel in America is owned, right? Or one of the biggest, I want to say owned. Well, yeah, it's owned. One of the biggest contributors to the political space is the conservative political space, Donald Trump's world, is a lady called Miriam Adelson, and he's married to Sharon Adelson. These are multi-billionaires, Israeli American. One issue that's been happening is people are really questioning the Israeli and American dual citizenship. People aren't liking it because they don't see why you can be both. I don't know. I'm citizenship. I don't know. I think you should be able to. Me being African myself. So, who is Marian Edelson? Marian Edelson is a physician by profession, but also a businesswoman, philanthropist, and a heavy conservative donor, one of the biggest. That says a lot. I mean, I think she's up there next to the Koch brothers. A huge Donald Trump donor. With her money alone, Donald Trump doesn't need anybody else, honestly. With the majority of the American people against the Iran war and the war in Palestine, West Bank settlements, and the complete erasure of the people in Gaza, the mass public are against it. But since we have such a corrupt political system, ever since Citizens United was passed, that allowed corporations and big PAC money to be put into politics. They pretty much said, just like you and me as an individual citizen can donate to someone's campaign, why can't corporations do the same thing? Because one corporation can have more money than a whole city. If you live in a city with Warren Buffett and he lives in Kansas somewhere, you can buy a whole election for one person. So that's what Citizen United. So the American people are against the war, but I want you to watch what Lindsey Graham has to say on here, because it's amazing how Lindsey Graham has been around this stuff for years, but Lindsey Graham has never seen a war that he didn't like. And it's amazing how Lindsey Graham explains. He says, it doesn't make sense. He says, it's not our responsibility to make sure that Iran's not a war, a terrorist hub. But what we're going to do is we're going to burn and break everything down and then give the people the opportunity to build it back up. Because they're asking, like, what's the plan here? Okay, yeah, you go in there, if you can, destroy the whole country. What's after that? And then he says, that's not our responsibility. What are you talking about? Why are you asking me that? It's dumb. They have to create that. We can't create that. But then we're saying, but you're not going to create that if you burn and bomb down someone's city. And what another guy said is, and I'm going to play the clip too. I'm going to play Lindsey Graham first. He's a senator in the House of Representatives. And then also I'm going to play this Arab guy who makes two great points. But I'm going to say the other guy, I think, is it Al Jazeera? I'm sorry, I said the Arab guy. But he makes a point of one, he calls America and Israel nothing but baby killers and baby rapists. And Iran has to defend themselves from these people. He put it in a good way. He put it in such a way to where you're like, ooh, this is not going to look good. And then also he puts in the fact that the youth of Iran was kind of changing. Like, this is what I said earlier. They're kind of changing. They're more open to Western world because they've never seen a war with the West themselves. There may be Israel, but not themselves. But their parents have seen it and their grandparents. So the youth was more like, come on, people, let's stop all this America hate. We see them on TV. We like basketball. We like, you know what I'm saying, music. What's going on? But now they're radicalizing the youth. So let's play that.
Where do you see this going? Is there an off-ramp for Iran?
I think what will happen is that even if the United States is able to kill illegally Iranian leaders, the next generation of Iranians, the Iranians that did not see American atrocities in Iran before 1979, some Iranians that did not understand why their parents and grandparents were anti-American, those Iranians will take over. Now they understand why American government is an imperialist, vicious government and a government that attacks other countries and kills little children. They understand they're fighting the Epstein class that either rape little girls or bomb little girls. This is the government that we are witnessing. They're going to fight back against that government, and they're going to ensure that the Islamic Republic of Iran will live many years after America destroys itself.
Lindsey Graham I don't think Lindsey Graham, see, this is the thing about politics, right? You start to learn, like in politics, just to being a politician you don't need to be the most intelligent person, well-read person. You just got to pretty much just have connections. Because for Lindsey Graham to say, well, we'll just let, Lindsey Graham, right? One hasn't seen a war that he didn't like. Lindsey Graham, you have to understand, within the last 73 years, America has been doing this to Iran over and over. What you're doing with Donald Trump is nothing new. I mean, within the Middle East in general, with Iran, maybe this is the first like real front-on assault. It doesn't work like that. You can't go to someone's house, kick down all the walls, burn the couch, blow the bathroom up, and then be like, okay, now you fix it all. People will have resentment towards you. You're gonna radicalize them even more. So, last 73 years, what has happened in Iran? Quick rundown: Mossadegh was assassinated because he was the one that was saying oil belongs to the Iranians. The British and Americans were like, huh? No, that belongs to us. So they murdered him. And then it turned into a police state when they put the puppet. The Shah Empire is a puppet, depending on who you're talking to. I guess that's what I was told. Well, 1979, that police state was overthrown by the Ayatollah was in, and then after that, as soon as the Ayatollah got in, America immediately armed Iraq. Hence the rise of Saddam Hussein. This movie it's like a movie that doesn't end. But anyway. And Iran has been getting hit for the last 73 years. I've really been doing some deep reading of nothing but economic warfare, being sanctioned and being ostracized out of the world of financial happiness. They're not able. A lot of their money was frozen and taken by the U.S. government, and it's been nothing but military warfare with coup attempts here and there, assassinations. They just killed, I guess, what was the general's name? Qala Soleimani, about Donald Trump's first term. That's when they killed him. And so, once again, Trump is a puppet. Our government is ran by Israeli interests, heavily Israeli interests, and I'm not sure if they can get out of this. America needs to understand it's on a very, very dark place. They're in war with Somalia. They're bombing Nigeria, Libya, all through the Middle East. And if you know anything about falling empires, this is what always happens when an empire is falling. They start wars. They start wars with everybody, everywhere. They deplete their funds. Their name becomes garbage because at this point, the American name, Israeli name is trash. They cannot be trusted. You have governments out there saying, we don't even know how to do a deal with you guys because none of you honor the deal your predecessor. Obama and the JCPOA gave Iran a path to back into polite society. They said, hey, if you do these things, we'll let you back in polite society. Stop your nuclear enrichment, do this and do that. And so they said, okay, and you give us our money back? And they said, yeah. So Obama, they did it. They passed a dozen different audits through, the Atomic Energy AE Institute, AEI, I think. They passed 12 different tests. I mean, they will pop up randomly inside the country and say, hey, we need to see your facilities. We need to be open. And they passed. And they were being let back. And then Donald Trump comes in, rips it all up. So now what do you think the Iranians are like? Well, maybe we need to do like North Korea and really get an atomic missile so that you guys can leave us alone. African countries, I would suggest you guys start thinking about nuclear. Anyway, so negotiations and bombing, that's all that's been happening. They'll sit down at the table, start negotiating. As you're in the middle of negotiation, Israel is going to throw a bomb behind. They don't really want to negotiate. They just want to create Iran into a destabilized, failed country. And the American empire is out of control, guys. It's out of control. You have so many different factions of the CIA all across the globe that no one knows who's doing what. So much dark money being passed around in circles. And then you have the billionaires like Elon Musk just walking in the door. The American empire is at trouble. It better wake up before it's too late. No one trusts you. You look like America looks like a rabid dog with rabies in its mouth who's trying to bite everyone and doesn't even know why. People are saying to the point to where people are like, in other countries, they just feel like America's just Do this or I'll kill you. That's their diplomacy at this point. Trump is cheapening the brand. Just like he puts gold on everything, he is cheaper. And then when Trump's in the middle of his meeting, he's updating people on the Iran war. He starts talking about the beautiful ballroom right behind this hall. Yeah, I picked him out myself. This dude's crazy. Invoke the 25th Amendment. He has lost his mind. America, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, check out Jeremy Sachs and all that he's doing. Peace.